Okay, at this time we're going to take our first question.
Hi, I was wondering if you would explain the phrase the Son of Man.
Now, as far as the Son of Man, and it is used repeatedly, especially in the New Testament. When we read the New Testament, we find that almost overwhelmingly, Jesus refers to himself as the Son of Man. But for the most part, Jesus is called the Son of God by others. In Matthew 26, verse 63, but Jesus held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. And thou hast said, Jesus acknowledged, and even devils, when they would say something to him, they would call him the Son of God. There's a couple of exceptions, but almost overwhelmingly, he refers to himself as the Son of Man. For instance, in Matthew 13, in verse 37, as Jesus is providing the answer to the parable, he answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. And in verse 41, the Son of Man shall send forth his angels. They shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. It's found several more times, I think, in this chapter, and just multitudes of times in the New Testament referring to Christ. Why this difference, or what is the difference between Son of God and Son of Man? We know that in order for Jesus to be called the Son of God, the firstborn from the dead, he had to die and resurrect from the dead. Romans 1 verse 4 says he's declared to be the Son of God, the Son of God. So when we read that title, the Son of God, it's just full of information that is teaching us that this means he died, he rose, he was declared the Son of God. On the other hand, he did not become the Son of Man by dying and resurrecting from the dead. It doesn't have that kind of connotation. It doesn't have all of that information built into it. It really is a name, a title that identifies with the fact that he became a man. He was born of the Virgin. This is why when Mark 13, verse 32, that confounding verse, no man knows, that has confounded mankind and true believers also for centuries and centuries, and has even confounded the true believers in the time when God is opening up all kinds of scripture. We've still gone back and forth trying to understand, why does it say in Mark 13, verse 32, but of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. And now we understand it. Now we have the ability to understand it, because when we read the Son, it is referring to Christ. We were mistaken when we thought it was referring to the son of perdition or to Satan. No, that's not in view. Actually, Satan's in view with the angels because he's a fallen angel. It would be repetitive to say neither the son, Satan, nor the angels, referring to the fallen angels. No, the Son is Jesus. To know means to experience, and the day and hour means the judgment. No man has experienced the judgment of God, not the fallen angels as yet, because Christ had not gone to the cross, and not the Son of Man. It's left open. It could be Son of God or Son of Man. But since Christ already experienced death and the judgment of God, which the day and hour refers to, at the foundation of the world, and became the Son of God through it, then it's not making reference to his sonship in relationship to God, but as the Son of Man, because he specifically entered into the world and became man. The Word was made flesh for this purpose, to go to the cross as the Son of Man, to experience judgment, to suffer, and to show forth what he did at the foundation of the world. And he had not yet experienced death in a tableau as the Son of Man. His earlier experience of death was while bearing sin. And that's far different than being declared by Pilate, I find no fault in him, to be declared without sin. And yet you still must submit yourself to the will of the Father and suffer and die. And there's no fault. You're not even doing it in order to deliver your people. They're already delivered. Their sins are already paid for. You're just doing it to prove that you've done it. And so he had not experienced that. And that's what it means, that of that day and hour knoweth, or no man has experienced. Neither the Son has experienced the wrath of God in a tableau. So it was his first time experiencing that. That's why Hebrews 9:26 says, for then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. There's the payment. But now you see the transition. Now God's going to give further information about something else. But now once in the end of the world hath he appeared. And the word appeared is that word make manifest. Or we would read this, in the end of the world hath he been made manifest to put away sin as the Son of Man by the sacrifice of himself. So this one-time manifestation that people misread, and they think it's referring to the one-time payment. No, that happened once from the foundation of the world. That was the original point of his suffering and atonement. But at the cross, it was a manifestation, and he only did that one time. And at the time we're reading in Mark 13, he had not yet accomplished it. He had not yet been made manifest on the cross. And so he can say he did not know the day or hour as yet. Well, that's pretty much how we can understand the phrase Son of Man is referring to Christ's intimate relationship with mankind through the virgin birth and the fact that he did receive a human body.